Welcome to Bothering the Band. First, we got to get the first question right out of the way because there's a heated debate. How the fuck do you pronounce your first name?
Eamon.
Eamon.
Yeah.
Some people were right, some people were wrong.
Yeah, I've heard it all, man.
Welcome, great musician Eamon McGrath. 7 records, 2 fucking books. What's your middle name?
Michael.
Eamon Michael. That's lovely. It's a lovely name. Welcome. I like your tortoise poster back there.
Yeah, there you go. That's a coveted tour poster from 2001.
Wow, that's when I graduated high school.
Yeah, it's actually similar time for me. So I was listening to Tortoise back then.
Great band. Great band. Like I said, thanks for doing this, man. We're happy to have you. We love bothering our favorite musicians. And speaking of musicians, who would you rather punch in the face? Mark McGrath, Mac DeMarco, or a Mac computer?
I assume you're referring to Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
I'm from the same town as Mac DeMarco.
Oh, yeah?
But I think that he grew up in Edmonton on the south side of the river. I grew up on the north side of the river. So probably can't say that I'd punch him in the face because we have a lot of mutual friends that I'm sure that would start some kind of brawl with or whatever the fuck. So I'm going to go with a computer's not a person. I'd have to say I definitely have to go with Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray. Yeah.
I can't wait to tweet him after this. We're going to beat you up, Mark.
And for just the musical crimes committed by Sugar Ray alone. Out of those 3, he's I'm sorry, Mark, but he's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you he would agree with us.
Yeah, he'd punch himself in the face too.
Yeah. What kind of beer are you drinking?
This is an Ontario IPA called Juicy Ass.
Oh, nice.
From a brewery called Flying Monkey.
Okay.
I've been pretty much drinking this exclusively this pandemic. So,
is it juicy? Is it like hoppy?
Super hoppy, really smooth, good ABV. I think it's like 7.5.
Oh, nice. A couple of those, have some fun.
You guys all say, Americans say that Canadian beer is just knocks you on your ass or something. Is that true?
Well, we had to catch up with you because I remember going to like Montreal like 10 years ago, and they had like the Labatt tall boys that were like 10 point.
Yeah,
and that's what knocked me. And when the craft beer explosion hit here, then they started catching up.
Right.
Yeah. So like, go ahead.
That's the reputation, I suppose, or whatever I've heard.
Well, like Le Fin de Mon was another one that was like big time.
Blanche Chambly.
Yeah. And then what's the other one?
Pistols is a good one too.
Where's that one from?
Three Pistols is the same. It's the same brewery, Unibrow.
Oh, okay.
You get in Quebec, you get the like the quart of it. You get the bottle, quart bottle, and it's the same thing happens to like English Canadians when we go there.
Yeah. Do you have 40s where you're at?
Oh yeah, sure.
No 40s in Florida. It's really weird.
They're not very common here. Like I don't know why. Like a lot, they're just not very popular. But you can get them.
I mean that's all we did in our youth: is sit on the stoop and drink 40s.
OE and Big Bear. That was my high school.
Colt 45.
Yeah.
So, do you consider yourself brave?
Yeah, I like to think so. I hope so. I don't know. That's a hard question to answer because you don't like. How has it ever been tested? You don't know until your life or the lives of those you love is in your hands.
Or you could be like, you're brave for pursuing what you love and.
Well, like things that come second nature to you are don't necessarily take a lot of courage, you know. Like it's like people that could never dream of playing music for a living, like to them, the idea is of going on stage in front of people is like terrifying, but it's not for someone that does it every day. There's no courage in that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to think like, like jump off this 5-story building or we'll kill your children. Do you do that? That's then you'll know. I like to think that I would do that. Yeah. So I hope so. Yeah.
You're great for doing this wild podcast, so thank you. We're still on the brave thing. If you encountered a bear, would you run or attempt to like play dead or stay still and hold your ground?
Well, I have encountered bears.
Mm-hmm.
And typically speaking, I mean, maybe this isn't what you're supposed to do, but this is what I have done. You just try to quietly walk away, I guess.
Man, as someone that lives in Florida and is from New York, that sounds terrible.
Hope you don't step on a dead twig or something and
startle it.
Yeah, startle it.
Going on a limb.
I grew up in Western Canada, so we'd go to the Rockies all the time, and I'd seen them through the woods and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just I don't know, you drop your food and you calmly walk away, walk the other direction. Maybe that's not what you're supposed to do. I have no idea, but I just remember being really scared. So yeah, I encountered cougars too. One time I was this girl I used to date and we discovered way later on in the night that we were getting tracked by this cougar the whole time. That was pretty scary. We found the leg of a dog laying in the middle of a gravel road that we were riding horses on. And then we had some binoculars with us, and when we got back to the house, we kind of scanned the tree line, and there was like a cougar in the distance walking across the edge of a field.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna say you're brave.
I mean, I don't know. I was just glad. I was glad I wasn't still out in the field. It's hard to say you're brave. I was at the house. Maybe not brave, but I was safe.
Yeah. No, it's this is a bravery podcast. We're officially brave. I'm deeming you braver. Pancakes or waffles?
Probably waffles.
What do you put on your waffles?
Depends where I am in the world. I guess if I'm in Belgium, icing sugar. I'm in Quebec, maple syrup. Maybe a bit of like strawberries and whipped cream and shit if I'm fucking super hungover. But aside from that, it's probably it.
Okay. What road are you on right now?
Peyton Road.
Peyton Road.
Paton.
Peyton Road. Nice. Are you close to Bellwoods?
Relatively speaking, yeah.
There is such a crazy rich like abundancy of musicians in Toronto. Like just so many.
There definitely is, yeah.
Do you live close to any other musicians?
Yeah, I mean every musician that you could kind of more or less know from touring or working or anything. I'd say like 90% of them live in the same part of town. So yeah, I mean, I used to, like pick a, like, I used to bartend at a bar that Feist would come into or whatever.
Oh, wow.
I bartended at a place for a while that Daniel Lanois' studio was across the street, shit like that. It's like kind of like, I don't mean this in like a fucking pretentious way or anything, but like when you go to LA and you're kind of like in a bar and 2 seats over is like some A&R guy from some fucking shithead major label or whatever, and everyone's just kind of like, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
uh, there's like the Canadian version of that here, or you could be like two seats down from Adam McGoyan or something or whatever. Lots of that.
Okay.
It's like the smaller scale version,
That's cool. Do you have any travel rituals?
I try to fly to Europe overnight. I try to red eye there. I think that's like the best way that you can beat jet lag when you're touring. If you have something to do the night you get there, the day you get there, if you can force yourself to sleep, like if you can take Gravol or Zopiclone or whatever, whatever your poison is, man, and you can sleep on the flight to the continent, you, as far as I'm concerned, you won't have any jet lag if you got to play the next day.
Yeah. Do you have any like weird rituals, like when you get into a hotel room, you gotta like shower or shit or throw your shoes out the window or something like that?
Nothing like that. No,
Yeah.
whatever. I'm pretty I don't know. I get pretty well acquainted with wherever I am right away.
I mean, you had to be. You've been touring forever.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm in Berlin, I like to go to Görlitzer Park, like first thing. I just think that like if you want to have a typical like Berlin night or whatever, it's usually a good place to start.
Yeah.
Like there was a while in the mid to late 2000s where like every single time I went to Berlin and that part of town, like Kreuzberg and Neukölln, Friedrichshain, like in that sort of strip in the middle, Mitte, I would run into some like 10 people I knew. It was like clockwork. Like you wherever you were staying, it's like, okay, I'm gonna walk out the door. I'm gonna go to Görlitzer Park. I will see someone I know, and it never failed. Like probably like 6 or 7 times I went there, it was like you could set your watch to it. I like doing that. Nowadays, it's like that city got so expensive and stuff that a lot of people have moved away. So a lot of the people I used to know there don't live there anymore. But yeah, I mean, I still go there like first thing. Even if you want to buy weed or whatever, it's good to. That's where you want to go.
It's official. You've heard it here, folks. If you're looking for weed in Berlin,
Görlitzer Park. I mean, I'm sure you can. It's way easier to buy it now, but yeah, I mean, you just like you go to Görlitzer Park. 20 minutes later, you'd have a fucking sack. So
that's good to know. Wow, we're breaking some ground here. Have you? What's your favorite thing about America?
New Orleans.
Oh, nice.
For sure. It's
Yeah,
one of my favorite cities in the world.
I don't disagree.
It's another planet. I love New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I love going there. I love everything about it. Never had a bad time in New Orleans.
No, I think it's kind of hard unless you get murdered. It's kind of hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, but every no matter how big it is, every U.S. city, I mean, every North American city, really. Canadian cities are a little different, just because there's, for a lot of reasons. But every U.S. city has like an area that you just don't go.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be like, a city of 50,000 people or 8 million people. There's one little part that you just you're told not to go to.
Yeah.
So it's like that aspect of it has never really bothered me. Like I've never felt like any more unsafe there than I have in certain parts of Cincinnati or whatever.
Yeah.
Or Cleveland, like that aspect of it's kind of, I've never really paid attention to, but I mean, I've definitely I don't think I've been robbed, or I've been hustled. Like one time in New Orleans, I was doing this stupid fucking tourist thing, like on Bourbon Street with a hand grenade, and huge lady came up to me and grabbed my face and just put it into her to her midsection, and I was like, whoa, what? Like, And then she shook me down for $20. I didn't even ask to be, grabbed or whatever. Couldn't believe it. I didn't ask for this. She just robbed me.
You want to hear something crazy? I've heard a similar story.
I mean, I'm sure it happens to every fucking stupid, Canadian white kid walking around Bourbon Street. It's like probably the most common thing, but I thought it was hilarious. I gave her $20 just because I figured there was some nasty 8-foot tall dude across the street that was going to kick my ass if I didn't. So
yeah, and you get a story out of it.
Yeah, it was like,
it's worth it now.
It was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. So have you been to Florida?
You know what, man? Aside from like the off like Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Alaska, like in the mainland continental USA, Florida is the only state I have never been to. And which is weird because I have a lot of friends there. I have a lot of bands from Florida I really connect with and know pretty well. Like that Have Gun Will Travel is a great band.
Mm-hmm.
This guy Scott Everlovin Anderson is a lap steel player and guitar player in that band. He tours with a very good friend of mine from New York, named Garrett Klon. I mean, there's great music from Florida. It looks like an incredible culture, and I don't know why I've never been there. I've been as far southeast as Georgia. That's it. But everywhere else.
Well, we got to get you to Florida once, you start touring again, hopefully next year.
Have Gun Will Travel and I have we've shot the shit about maybe playing together and me coming down. And I mean, there's Fest is that festival is a huge thing. I've been asked to play it and stuff. And
are you going to play it this year?
Well, no, I mean, probably not this year. Like we're so behind in everything compared to where you guys are that I mean, I haven't even renewed my passport since it expired last August because it's just so up in the air.
Yeah, we have a friend who is in Toronto and she just bitches like how it's a little bit more locked down than where we are. Florida, no one gives a shit. So
yeah. Well, but now it's fine. Like whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully, I mean, I'd love to go to the Keys, and I'd love to. I mean, I hear Miami's just insane.
To New Orleans, it's like a nicer, glitzier New Orleans.
Yeah.
So
I'd love to go there.
Cool, man. Have you ever played the harp?
The harp?
Yeah.
Like the instrument?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
No, never tinkered with a harp?
Never have.
Man.
Looks tough.
Yeah. Looks very tough.
I have some friends that a friend that plays the harp. Who's that? I remember it was like, I forget who it was, but like total hoser, whatever, hanging out, drinking beers, and then it's like she brings out the harp, and it was just like, it's like an alien language or something. No clue how to do that. No clue.
Did this person have to do the tilted thing? Tilt it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that it was like I mean, it's huge, and then she kind of just like, yeah, it was like a gigantic. It's like a beast.
I wonder why they have to fucking tilt it. Why don't they just build it that
way? That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Build on an angle.
Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask a harp player. And maybe there might be some sort of resonant, like some harmonic, acoustic resonant reason. It can't be like on the floor. Maybe I don't know.
We'll have to ask Joanna Newsom.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never have. And it's like, and it's an instrument that generally speaking, like genuinely speaking, sorry, I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how you'd even start.
Yeah. No, that sounds like a whole shit.
A whole other ball of wax.
We say a whole bag of hammers. It sounds like a whole bag of hammers.
Bag of hammers.
You can use that. What color are your sheets?
White. Do you mean like now? Or no, I'm just kidding. Hopefully white. Beige. They're beige. No,
so.
white sheets.
It's one of those questions that when we think of, it's like, that's funny. And then asking it is a whole different ballgame.
Well, I mean, like, depending on the answer, like that has the potential to get really dark.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want someone to say brown.
Yeah. Or red with blood.
Yeah. You know,
One pillow or two pillows? What are you sleeping with?
I sleep with one pillow.
Oh, wow. What's that like?
I mean, if I sleep with any more than one, I just fucks up my back. So
I want to do one whole podcast where it's nothing but sleep questions. Like, do you sleep on your side? Do you get up in the middle of the night to pee?
actually, I've slept on my stomach since I was a baby, and it used to freak out my folks because apparently that's like you can babies can die.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
The death syndrome or whatever. So it used to just fucking freak out my mom. Like, oh my God, he's dead.
Oh my God.
No, sleeping away, just purring like an engine.
And you're still sleeping on your belly, huh?
Yeah, ever since. Cheating death, tempting fate.
I love it. That's funny. What was the first CD or album you bought ever?
That like, oh man.
Or tape or whatever.
The first one, I think it might have been, it was either Relationship of Command by At the Drive-In or Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine. I think it was Evil Empire by Rage Against the Machine.
Do you know who we're interviewing after this?
Who are you? Who?
Jim Ward.
Oh, cool.
From At the Drive-In.
Yeah, from At the Drive-In and Sparta.
Sparta, yeah. We'll tell him you said hi.
I was never a big Sparta fan, but At the Drive-In, like, legit changed my life, like, for real.
Great band.
Totally. Phenomenal.
Yeah. That's a weird coincidence. That just blew my fucking mind.
That record, Relationship of Command, I bought second because I think someone was like, oh, you I mean, I was whatever, I was like 10 or some shit, but it's like someone was like, oh, At the Drive-In sounds like Rage Against the Machine. And then I was like, okay, sweet. And I went out and bought, I was like, At the Drive-In doesn't sound like anything like Rage Against the Machine.
No, not at all.
And so I ended up discovering a lot of music through At the Drive-In.
Yeah. Wow. This is crazy. That just blew my mind. What are you reading these days? Reading anything good?
Actually,
Nice.
I'm reading a book called I'll Sleep When I'm Dead.
Oh, come on.
The biography of Warren Zevon.
Oh, cool. How far are you in? Any good?
It's great. Yeah, he was a hardcore motherfucker.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and it's one of those sort of oral history of, like, it's all just quotes, interviews.
Oh, cool.
that an editor has sort of made a narrative out of, and
Yeah.
which I love those kind of books. Like, there's a Replacement biography that's like that. There's I think Please Kill Me.
Mm-hmm.
The oral history of punk rock is written that way.
Yeah.
And what I find fascinating about those is that it's like all these people end up sort of touching on the same things.
Yeah.
It's like there's these like very specific but unanimous aspects of the narrative trajectory of a band's career, to the point where you could actually like create a book out of all of it. That really blows my mind. Like, no, there's not I mean, there's obviously shit in the interviews that's probably on the cutting room floor or whatever, but it just fascinates me that all these people sort of end up telling some of the same stories. I love that. That's really great. So
Yeah, no, those I love those types of books, the oral histories. That's great. Now I got to buy another fucking book.
Yeah. There's a couple books too that I'm a huge fan, like the Neil Young biography, Shaky. It's probably my favorite book. And I read that and the Graham Parsons biography, 20,000 Roads, a couple of years ago at like exactly the same time. I was reading both books simultaneously. And there's a couple instances in both books that are mentioned, and one of them is apparently this moment when Graham Parsons got in a limousine in, I think it must have been LA, and Jack Nitzsche was in the other seat facing Graham Parsons. And this is like Graham Parsons is at the depths of his heroin abyss. And apparently they had just finished recording Tonight's the Night. and Graham Parsons got in the limousine, and apparently Jack Nitzsche said to him, "Who's this guy?" or something, and then he introduces Graham to Jack, and Jack goes, "Oh, he looks a lot like Bruce, and Bruce is dead." And that moment is in both books. I thought that was
wow.
Cool. Yeah,
that's cool and fascinating, man.
Nerdy rock history shit.
I love it. The reason I asked is because I'm just a voracious reader. I just keep, every time I finish a book, I buy 4 more, so it never goes down. My stack never goes down.
Yeah, totally.
And of course, we're music junkies. That's why we do this. So we just want to talk music all day long. So, how do you store your chargers? Do you wrap them up neatly, or are they in a fucking mess?
I wrap them up neatly. I'm not a very tidy person, I wouldn't say, but I am a stagehand. Like aside from touring full time, when I'm home, before all this bullshit, I was a full-time stagehand. So I do actually take my cable management very seriously. It is one thing that I don't fuck around on.
Do you have the little Velcro things that you wrap them up with?
Yeah, I got it all. Yeah.
Oh, no. I knew that question was gonna hit.
But yeah, I mean, my mind is like a fucking bat cave. But cables. I'm very particular with my cabling.
Yeah, that's great. I knew it was gonna go well. What does a cold Alberta night smell like?
In those like mountain climbing movies where like the people get stuck on the side of the mountain and their fucking nose is black and shit. When in like the wintertime in Alberta, in northern Alberta, where I'm from, it gets so cold that honestly there's a scent in the air that's like just the cusp of your flesh becoming that gangrenous, I would say.
And what would you compare that to?
It doesn't smell like that. It's just like there's like this scent in the air of cells just almost dying. And it's like because it gets cold enough sometimes, depending on the time of year, where your spit freezes before it hits the ground, So yeah, I mean, I remember growing up in like cities like Winnipeg, Saskatoon, Edmonton. There have been temperatures recorded in those places in the winter where they are literally colder than fucking Mars. So yeah, I mean, it's just like this. It gets fucking dark. Plus, it gets dark, literally dark at like 3, 3 or 4. You're like, relatively speaking, it's hard to convey this to like someone who lives in a place as densely populated as Florida, right? Like Florida's, it's got a regional identity, and there's bands like Have Gun Will Travel. Have Gun Will Travel, like they tour Florida, they'll do like 12 shows. And they're playing their like regional circuit. There's enough people that you can do that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So in Canada, like the regional sort of identity in the north is like, cities like Yellowknife, Whitehorse, and then Edmonton. Like Edmonton's like the big city in that sort of northern.
Yeah.
And they're like a 2 days drive away from each other. There's no way to get there. There's no roads.
Wow.
Relatively speaking. So like,
yeah.
So like,
there's no highways and shit.
Yeah, I mean there are, but it's just the journeys are just so long, and but I mean I have so many friends in Edmonton, for example. My point, I guess, is that it's like, people that grew up in Yellowknife, and they made the big move to Edmonton because Edmonton was like the big city, and it's like I think aside from a place like Moscow, for example, it's like it's really, really, really rare for a city that's that northern, to have so many people in it. Like Edmonton's got like over 1 million people, and it's like, I mean, it's a very, 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 very northern town. But my point is that for that northern Canadian region, even though there's no way you could even call it a region, because it's like there's no population density at all. It's just there's nothing. Edmonton is like the big sort of outpost, and that's always been its history. It was the last outpost that you could stock up before you went and trapped your fur.
Yeah.
And that identity resonates through time in that place for sure.
And it happens to smell like cells that are about to start dying.
That's how I would describe it.
That's a very visceral way to describe it too.
There's no chance of survival in that place in January, if you're outside. It's just not happening.
You're dead.
You're dead, man. Yeah,
dead.
Fucking dead. It's like -40, -45 degrees Celsius, like seriously fucking cold.
Yeah. All right. So this is the most important question. If you had a pet Pegasus, what would you name it?
You know what I did today? Actually, this is going to be my answer. I harvested my weed plant. And I was very sad to see him go. Or maybe it was her, because isn't it just the
I think the
plants that are. Anyway, I was sad to see her go, but I named her Leif Erikson, and I was very proud of that name. I would probably name my Pegasus after my fallen plant friend.
This is my pet Pegasus. Her name is Leif Erikson.
But I think I would spell it like the Scandinavian way this time.
Leif.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, that's it.
That's it.
Thanks
Great.
for doing this. First of all, let's talk about. Let's do some plugs, man. You just had April drop.
Yeah.
Great fucking song.
It's the second single from an upcoming record called Bells of Hope, which has an as yet undecided release date, but it will come out at some point this year or next. So I mean, there's probably going to be more songs from that coming out very soon. Yeah, and I just can't wait to get back on the road and hopefully get to the States as soon as I can.
Well, we'll keep bugging you to come to, our respective necks of the woods, Florida, especially.
Yeah, it'd be great. There's a great songwriter from the Midwest named Brett Newski that was trying to have me down to play in do some release shows opening for him in Milwaukee, Madison, and Detroit. And that was supposed to happen last April, and it's kind of just keeps getting postponed. But hopefully I can figure out a way to kind of sister some Florida dates with that or something.
Yeah, that'd be great, man. Keep in touch. Everyone, that was Bothering the Band. Follow Eamon on every platform, Instagram, MySpace, whatever you're on. You were on it in the beginning, right? I have a MySpace.
I think I do have a MySpace still.
I think upon researching you, we were found that.
It takes takes half a day to load. It's just like the spinning wheel of death, and the minute it loads, it's just like a cloud of dust comes out your computer.
And then you punch the computer.
Yeah, who even knows what the fuck is on that thing? I don't even know.
Thank you so much for being here, man. This was
cool, man. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, and you got some fans in us, so thank you so much.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much.
Bye, Leif Erikson.
Yeah, may she rest in peace.